Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Melanin Margin, the weekly chat show where conversations about race are never off the table. We're your hosts, Quaviondre Williams.
And Daquon Wilson.
So let's get into this week's conversation. What's hot on the table this week?
So, director Jane Campion has apologized to tennis legends Venus and Serena Williams for her thoughtless remarks about the pair during a Sunday evening acceptance speech at the Critics' Choice Awards. Campion, a white woman from New Zealand, was accepting the award for Best Director for her film The Power of the Dog when she made the comments. In her speech, Campion, the only woman nominated in the category, praised the Williams sisters as marvels in their craft, but implied that the two black women did not face the same battles in gender equality as women in film. Quote, Serena and Venus, you are such marvels. However, you don't play against the guys like I have to, end quote, Campion said with a laugh. Her remarks were met with swift backlash on social media, where commenters pointed out the years of racism and sexism the Williams sisters faced in their careers. Some described the idea of a white woman from a socially privileged background had somehow a more difficult route to success than two black tennis powerhouses as perfectly emblematic of white feminism. Campion has since apologized for her remarks, stating, quote, I made a thoughtless comment, equating what I do in the film world with all that Serena Williams and Venus Williams have achieved. I did not intend to devalue these two legendary black women and world-class athletes. The fact is, the Williams sisters have actually squared off against men on the court and off, and they both have raised the bar and opened doors for what is possible for women in this world. The last thing I would ever want to do is minimize remarkable women, end quotes. With that being said, in the words of Cardi B, what was the reason? Why do you think that Campion made the comment at all?
Before I answer this question, I just want to address Jane Campion directly. You couldn't just say thank you. You couldn't just say, this is such an honor. Thank you all so much. Have a lovely evening, and just exit the stage.
Black women stay on your mind like that you can't just not think about them?
Like, she wouldn't even have to make an apology at all if she didn't say anything about these black women, or simply just ended the statement with, like, Venus and Serena, you two are marvels. Thank you all so much. I mean, just stop there. Just stop there. You were doing so good up until that one part. You just had to keep going, didn't you?
Y'all need to be more like Adele. Be more like Adele, who's like, Beyonce, you are queen.
Like, oh God. But you said what you said, so let's go ahead and get into it, Miss Campion. We all know the reason why she said what she said. Whether it was intentional or not, she said what she said to do exactly what she apologized for, minimizing the success of Venus and Serena. In her white mind, she believed that she endured more patriarchy, more suffering, and more struggle than a black woman. Just as Serena said in her tweet about New York Times that we literally just talked about, no matter how far we come, we are reminded that we are not enough. And I think that this situation right here is the perfect example of that. This statement Jane made was unwarranted, unwelcomed, and unprompted. Yet she said it anyway and laughed it off because she believed that she was right. Black people, successful Black women specifically, like you said, Daquon, stay on the minds for white people for no reason at all. Because whether or not Jane believes it, the impact of her words were reinforcing the idea that successful Black women need to be brought down a peg, because in the eyes of white society, Black people will never be on their level. Twitter user Guitaring Lancy summed it up beautifully, stating, seriously speaking, there is so much to unpack from this. But to start, why do you want to one up yourself by stepping on Black women? They aren't your enemy. And Jane, this apology girl, I can't with the I made a thoughtless comment and the I did not intend to.
Have some thoughts to your comments. Have you never heard the phrase think before you speak?
Like, Daquon, like, I mean, at least in her full apology, she did apologize directly to Venus and Serena, which feels like the bare minimum. But in our society, it's more than what many white celebrities have done in response to accusations of racism and microaggressions. But what she should have said was this. The comment I made was wrong because what I said minimized the fact that Venus and Serena exist in the intersections of Blackness and womanhood. And what they have done in spite of that is remarkable. It was my ignorance of that intersectionality that led me to believe that my struggles as a white woman were anywhere near more difficult than their struggles as Black women. I am deeply sorry and will make a conscious effort to do the work to understand my privilege better. That's what the fuck I was looking for in this apology. That's not what we got, though. I'm going to need you to do way better, Jane, and do some research because in the phrasing of the infamously iconic Miranda Priestley, white people succeeding in a racist society, groundbreaking.
This is going to sound so controversial, but hear me out.
Okay, Daquon.
Jane was kind of right with what she said, but not in the way that she was saying it. So she said that Venus and Serena Williams don't play against the guys like Campion does. And in that sense, she is right. Because not only are the Williams sisters playing against the guys for simply being a woman, but they're playing against the guys for being a Black person as well. And on top of that, being a Black woman. So when you think about it, there is some, something right about that statement because we know in sports, we know that Black women are constantly facing so many different types of microaggressions, major aggressions, and overall having their accomplishments downplayed. That's the absolute truth. We've talked about it so many times. But not only that, as a Black woman in a sports field, we already know that Black women are often masculinized and that Black women are not afforded womanhood with white women. So not only having that masculinization of Black women, but also playing a sport, playing a masculine thing is also another layer. So she's right in the sense that they aren't playing with the guys like she is. They're playing with the guys even more because of all of the different overlapping intersectional oppressions that they face. However, with that being said, I still don't like that statement because that was not what she was going for at all. That was not her intention at all. She did not have that level of critical race theory in that statement. So, with all that being said, fuck that statement. But the apology. What's the saying? The road to hell is paved with good intentions. I don't give a damn what your intentions was with the comments. I really don't care that you think that the last thing you ever would want to do is minimize remarkable women, because the fact is you did that. It doesn't matter if it's the last thing you do or the first thing you do, you did that. And so I need you to take real accountability, not just, it was a thoughtless comment. Because the fact is, a Black woman like Venus and Serena Williams do not have the privilege to make a thoughtless comment.
Ooh,
Every
bitch.
single aspect of them are analyzed to the deepest degree, whether it's their body language, how their faces move, the tone in which they speak, the pace of which they speak, the words that they are saying or not saying, the level of their vernacular, their vocabulary. They aren't afforded the opportunity to make a thoughtless comment. So in this instance, You just showed your privilege. You showed your whole ass privilege in this statement, in this apology. And frankly, like, I'm tired. Get out of here.
Daquon, oh, you eat, bitch. You is eating because right now, bitch, all I could think of when you said that statement right there is that Serena and Venus Williams do not have the luxury of making thoughtless comments. We know for a
Even in the
fact.
sports field, like they get judged so hard. They get judged as being so aggressive when it comes to just their frustrations for losing a match. We've
Mm-hmm.
seen that reported on time and time again. And it's like, again, going back to how Black women are masculinized, they are also deemed as being more aggressive simply because they're Black. And like, again, that is why it's so important to have an understanding about race and how it impacts people's everyday lives.
And I also think that, like, when it comes to this situation specifically, too, like, you know, we know that Jane Campion is not going to be, there's nothing that's going to happen. Like, you know, she's going to move
No.
on from this. She's going to still get opportunities, all that good stuff. Not that she should be canceled for this, but I think it's really telling how Jane is just able to make an apology and just move on and, you know, make a thoughtless comment. And this, I don't know, Daquan, this kind of feels a little similar to how, you know, Whoopi Goldberg made a thoughtless comment and was railed online over and over again, so much so that she was suspended for making a thoughtless comment. So it's just making me think like, it's very interesting how white women and white men are able to make thoughtlessly racist comments, to make all of these generalizations, minimizing people, saying racial slurs, and just, it's just I just made a mistake, y'all. It's all right. I'm fine. And then Black people do the same thing, and it's like, burn the witch, burn her,
all of them,
death, murder, and it's crazy. And I really think that, Daquan, that's the real truth in the matter. It's like we as Black people are not afforded the same luxury as white people are when it comes to making mistakes. When we make a mistake, it is broadcasted, it's seen. People of color too. When people of color and Black people make mistakes, we are held to an entirely different standard of having to atone for it in a vastly steeper way than our white counterparts.
right? And not only that, but we are seen as representations of our entire identity. They're going to lump every single Black person of color in with your statement. If one is aggressive, then they're all aggressive. If one is saying something problematic, they all must be thinking it. But in this instance, Campion has the privilege of individuality on top of all of her other privileges.